We talked yesterday after Zelensky's visit to the United States, meeting with Biden at the White House and then going over to the Capitol and addressing Congress, how Tucker Carlson had just the most unhinged response in the direct aftermath of it. And I even saw, and just so you know, I'm going to lay the groundwork and then we're going to dive into some more clips of Tucker Carlson talking about this. They're just outrageous. But I saw that Tucker Carlson, in the coverage of the Zelensky visit, was the most watched. He was the most watched. So more people were hearing his message than any single other news source, right? Not combined, but any single other one covering that same visit, which is wild because of how dishonest and not factual his coverage is. So I have more for you. The next night, he continued talking about Zelensky's visit and had just so many horrible takes on it, as you'll see here. And we have a few different clips to go through. Here's the first one.
Last night, the president of Ukraine
Let
showed
me
up.
start this from the beginning.
Last night, the president of Ukraine showed up in the Congress wearing a green sweatshirt and cargo pants for maximum disrespect.
Why he's obsessed with the outfit of Zelensky, a wartime president, I don't know.
And demanded the United States continue to spend more on his country's border security than we spend on our own. That actually happened.
Little bit more complex than border security. He's asking for support in defending his country that was unjustifiably invaded, and our country has logistical issues with the running of our border that have nothing to do with an invasion of any sort, no matter how many times they repeat that phrase.
It was a pretty cheeky performance if you think about it. But like Sam Bankman-Fried before him, Zelensky put a salesman's gloss on what otherwise might look very much like a scam. Last night,
I really don't get what the scam is. An authoritarian power is invading and trying to occupy a sovereign country. It's in the interest of the United States to support that country in defending itself. It has huge global ramifications if we're able to successfully help Ukraine stand up to Russia in this situation. Next moment here from Tucker Carlson.
So that kind of solves a mystery from last night. How can any self-respecting American sit there when some foreign dictator shows up wearing his workout clothes?
Not a dictator.
In the U.S. Congress and starts demanding, with a very apparent lack of gratitude, that we send him tens of billions of dollars when we're running out of money? How could you sit and put up with that? And then drapes a Ukrainian flag in our Congress. How could you put up with that? Well, because you're not a self-respecting American. You have no self-respect. You have no dignity. You don't care. You'll say anything. You'll tell any lie. You'll repeat any talking point. And when
Is he talking to himself right here? Let's see. See if this makes sense with Tucker talking to himself, okay?
no dignity. You don't care. You'll say anything. You'll tell any lie. You'll repeat any talking point. And when someone from the DNC or the
That's exactly right. He will tell any lie and perpetuating talking point.
White House sends you a note by text saying, compare him to Churchill, you do. Because you have no self-respect. That's the problem. So while millions of...
So, number one, he said that Zelensky had no appreciation. How many times did he repeat that he's grateful to the American people and to Biden? Multiple. But then also, the strange obsession he has with these tiny little aspects, comparisons to Churchill there, or the flag being, presented to Pelosi and Kamala Harris while he was speaking. And all of this shows that if you're going to get into the little nitty gritty of the way that it played out and try to make that a huge deal, you actually don't have a really good argument. The funny thing is he talks about so often the money. We don't have enough money for this. But I don't hear Tucker Carlson arguing against the $800+ billion military budget that was just passed in the federal funding bill. So if this small amount of billions, I mean, it's a big amount, of course, but I'm saying compared to the broader military budget, is an issue with you being sent to Ukraine, which is in the interest of the United States, then why is it not an issue that we spend $800+ billion on our military? Because you're saying that spending it on military support over here is horrible, but general military spending over here is perfectly fine. He doesn't actually think that we're running out of money completely. He doesn't actually have an issue with any of these things. It's just to pit himself against Biden and to continue cozying up to Russia for whatever reason. Here's another particularly strange moment from this monologue.
Oh, yes, good point. Good point, sir. Ooh, we're so pleased you're here. Throw your foreign flag on the dais and we'll applaud more. That's honestly what it looked like last night. You gotta clap, you can get in trouble if you don't clap, so everyone just claps all the time.
Again, as we see so often, getting in trouble is just people criticize you. That's all it is. Oh, you're not allowed to do anything other than clap for Zelenskyy. No, we just think this is a good time to clap for Zelenskyy. And if you choose not to, we get to use our freedom of speech to criticize you for that. And you get to use your freedom of speech to say stupid points on Fox News. That's just how the world runs. Final thing here, when talking about Lindsey Graham, criticizing Lindsey Graham's support of Ukraine, Tucker Carlson said this.
So it's really hard to overstate how crazy this is. And you don't want to play shrink and wonder about, what emptiness at the core of Lindsey Graham's personal life causes him to identify so strongly with a country he's not a citizen of. Something's going on there. But
So something is going on in Lindsey Graham's personal life from the perspective of Tucker Carlson that's causing him to be supportive of a country that is getting invaded for no good reason by an authoritarian power. I honestly don't like to do the whole Tucker Carlson's just obsessed and loves Russia and that's why he's doing all this, because so many situations that type of analysis seems too simple. But it does get so difficult not to just go, does he just really want to be a Russian propagandist? Is that all that he wants to do? Because otherwise, none of this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. They're using his clips now on Russian state media because he's so good at perpetuating the Russian state media's talking points. It's strange. And I want to remind you, earlier on in this whole situation, this was what Tucker Carlson had to say about the Russian invasion of Ukraine, or at this point, we were building to the invasion as they were bringing troops to the border.
I should say for the record, I'm totally opposed to these sanctions, and I don't think that we should be at war with Russia. And I think we should probably take the side of Russia if we have to choose between Russia and Ukraine. That is my view.
Or that might have been right when it occurred, the invasion. Around that beginning time, he's saying, if I have to choose between Russia or Ukraine, I'll pick Russia. That's his take on all of this. Truly disturbing. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get a full extra show every single Saturday, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there's a link in the description.